I hold in my hand not Ross Dellinger, but rather a report from Ross Dellinger, and you are not going to believe it. Quote from Ross Dellinger, a White House committee is suddenly taking an interest in the college football playoff and believes the postseason should expand to 24 teams. Gasp. My word, not Ross's. He continues, this week here in Dallas, expansion discussions are expected to reignite. Quote, anonymous quote here, there is a coalescing around 24. Well, I know I'm shocked, and I assume everyone else is. You know, what do you do when you screw something up? You just run to the ATM. What do you do when you completely toss your financial situation in the gutter? You take your parents' credit card and you head to the ATM. Well, in college football, we have an ATM. It's called the playoff. And when they screw up, they don't get fired. The same people who screwed up the sport, not over the past 2 or 3 years, but over the past 2 or 3 decades, they just get to run to the ATM. That is the CFP, and expand it, and that'll bail us out. Mind you, there was nothing in any of this, nor is there ever anything in any of this about rectifying the problem. No, the problem is the problem. We'll just generate a way to make more cash. We'll revenue our way out of it. Always works. History shows us that that is a very, very sound approach to poor decision making. So it's getting pretty clear. Something's getting pretty clear. If it's not already to you, it should be getting pretty clear. And if you go and read Ross Dellinger's report, you'll see what I mean. Greg Sankey and the SEC are often painted as the devil. And I've got my fair share of issues with the way they've approached a lot of this too. But it seems more and more like Greg Sankey and the SEC may be the only remaining entities standing between us and certain playoff expansion to 24 teams. And I will point you to this from Ross Dellinger's article. Quote, during last week's meeting, at least 3 of the 4 power conference commissioners and Notre Dame expressed outright support for, or at the very least an openness to deeply explore a 24-team proposal. Noticeably absent from the call was SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. Sankey thus far has resisted expansion to 24 teams. There is a reason that I did not just say the SEC has resisted expansion to 24 teams. Because I hate to break it to you, but even in our own backyard down here in the South, a lot of these folks want to expand to 24 teams. Not the fans. Most fans see it for what it is, which is insane. A lot of the ADs and a lot of the coaches want to expand to 24 teams. And the reason why is because they feel like they were lied to. And there are a lot of power brokers outside the SEC that know that. And this is the chess game right now. The chess game is people outside the SEC that want to expand this thing to 24, they think all they have to do is wait the SEC out. Well, you may think, well, what are you waiting out? Hasn't Greg Sankey made his stance clear? Yeah. Problem is not everyone in his league is on board with that thinking. And I will direct you again to part 2 of our screenshots. We screenshot multiple things from this article, and this is part 2 of it. Listen closely. Now imagine you're in the Big Ten and you want to expand to 24 and you're reading this. Frustrations continue to brew over the SEC's decision last year to move to a 9-game conference schedule, a move that many within the conference assumed would result in playoff expansion. Now, what they're talking about here is the SEC went to 9 league games. The coaches and ADs were led to believe that, well, yeah, we're expanding to 9 because the playoff's going to expand. So you guys don't have to be as worried about maybe a 3rd loss every now and then, maybe even a 4th loss if you play a tough schedule because the playoff's going to expand. You guys will be okay. Well, that hasn't happened yet. The article continues. Quote, the expectation of every AD in the SEC was that at some level the 9-game schedule was going to be combined with at least a 16-team playoff field. That's Auburn AD John Cohen on the record. Ole Miss Chancellor Glenn Boyce, he said, quote, I would have said no, unquote, if someone had told him expansion wasn't coming. Hey, do me one favor right here. Look down. Are you subscribed to the channel? If you are, thank you. If you're not, please click subscribe. It helps us keep the show free and free of corporate interference. All right, that's it for me. Back to the clip. They're not marching arm in arm in the SEC, quite like they normally do with Greg Sankey, because a lot of them are upset that the playoff hasn't expanded. Now, they may not have wanted expansion to 24, but they absolutely wanted expansion to 16, or a lot of them are saying, we never would have agreed to expanding to a 9-game league schedule had we known the playoff safety net wasn't going to get bigger. Now, if you know me well enough, you know I hate all this, but I'm not an SEC AD. I'm not an SEC head coach. I have argued face-to-face with multiple SEC head coaches about this, but I get their stance. It's all Kirby's smart. Like I hate the points Kirby's making right now. Kirby's advocating for 24 teams. What's his reasoning? Fans want access to the playoff. It's playoff or bust. Well, this gives more fan bases more access. I hate all that. But I get why a head coach would say that. Frankly, that's why I could not care less about a head coach's opinion on playoff expansion. I barely care what the ADs think about it, because their best interest, or the interest rather that they're trying to serve, is different than the one I'm trying to serve. I just care about the overall greater good of college football. But I'm not Kirby Smart, so it's not my job to look out for my team. I kind of care about the sport as a whole. But do you see it now? Do you see? Let's hit rewind 10 years. 6 years, 7 years, whatever. A lot of you have watched the show for a long time. A lot of you have argued with me back and forth until we're both blue in the face about this. But does it start to make a little more sense with each and every subsequent article like this that comes out? Why some of us pushed against initial playoff expansion so hard? Does it at least make a little more sense? I know a lot of you out there thought 4 wasn't enough and you wanted to go to 6 or 8. Well, we didn't go to 6 or 8. We went to 12. And many of you who wanted expansion, you looked at 12 and you said, man, that's bigger than I thought it would be. That's okay, though. 12 is better than 4. Many, many, many of you said that. And I disagreed, but it wasn't the end of the world to me logic-wise. My problem was, very simply put, I knew why they expanded it. They didn't expand it for the same reasons you wanted it expanded. A lot of you wanted expansion because you really just thought, this is what's best for college football. I, of course, disagreed with that. But if you really, really care about college football and we simply differ in opinion on how to accomplish that, that's okay. That's not the worst thing in the world. But these people are. And to you, the playoff is a tournament to crown a national champ. It's not that to these people. To these people, the playoff has never been a tournament to crown a national champ. It's been an ATM built to erase decades of screw-ups. And that's all it's ever been. Now, you notice, back when it was 4, and a lot of fans complained that that wasn't big enough, these people had no problem, because it was convenient to their end goal, citing fan displeasure with their want to expand it. You used to hear that all the time. ADs and commissioners and even network executives, they said, well, the fans are telling us in overwhelming numbers they want a bigger playoff. Do you notice? When is the last time any of these articles cited anybody on record or anonymously as saying, oh, we're going to expand to 24 because that's what fans want? Of course they're not doing that, because hardly any fans want it. Even playoff expansion supporters don't want 24 teams. Very, very few. A super minority of college football fans want 24 teams. But it was never about creating the best tournament to crown a national champ. That was all just a cover. It's always been a cover. It's a playoff sticker on the side of an ATM machine. My answer has always been, and continues to be, I really wish that some people in this world would swallow their pride. I wish that they'd find a way to merge the SCORE Act and the overhaul of the Sports Broadcasting Act. I would love to get the governance piece in place with collective bargaining. I would love to get the money reworked via a new media rights deal that has money, plenty enough revenue for us to circumvent the need to expand to 24 teams. And I mostly wish that we'd stop letting people who made the mess be responsible for the cleanup. I know that this is fairy tale land, and I'm wishing against hope, but that's where I wish we'd head. We'll see. Meetings continue. We'll see.